What's up, YouTube family? Gerald Greenlee here with Clean and Green Lawn Service in South Georgia. One of the big hits of mine on YouTube as far as video is in terms of views, in terms of total watch time, has been dealing with this bad boy right here, the Hustler XOne. And I think there's a reason for that. Hey, here's my pine cones. I always pick them up. Just hadn't thrown them in my trash can yet. But, you know, I didn't really think about this, but when I was looking at the XOne, I actually borrowed my son-in-law, his dad, and actually he's in the business too, is a Hustler dealer. And, you know, kind of a small dealer. They don't have like, I mean, I guess, you know, you can talk to a rep and get a demo in there. I'm sure I could if I wanted to. Probably will before I buy another one. But, you know, he's got an XOne, my son-in-law does, and I rode his and tried it out before I bought this one. Now, his is a 2012, I believe it's a rear discharge, which I wasn't interested in. I'm sure they have their place, but you watch my videos long enough to know I cut a lot of tall grass, and that rear discharge, although it does a good job of running over it, it does not disperse it. And so I just couldn't go that route. But anyway, my XOne has been a big hit as far as YouTube goes. Now, for me, a big hit, you know, if I get, you know, 300 views on something, that's a big deal. Because my average views for a regular video, when I put it up, you know, I get 25, 30 views. So, with that said, what I'm doing today is I am out here this evening. I'm getting ready to go. Tomorrow, I will be cutting grass, and I'm kind of show you a couple of things in terms of maintenance on the XOne. Now, this is not an all-out maintenance video. This is going to have to do with cleaning off the deck because I've cut some high grass and I've gotten a lot of buildup under there, which is not good having your belts run through that, especially if sticks and stuff get under there. But before I do that, right now, I'm actually changing out the blades. You can see here's a set of blades that I have sharpened. This is the blade that just come off of it, which the, you know, they're still cutting, but that edge is wore. I will sharpen that. I do not have, I sharpen with a 40 grit flap disc and an angle grinder, and I do not have the, what is it, the All-American sharpener. I've been thinking about getting one of those. I know my buddy at New Beginnings Landscaping, Drew Hadwin up in South Carolina. He's got one. He's done a video on it. A lot of people got videos on them. I'd encourage you to check out Drew's channel if you get the opportunity to do it. If you hadn't subscribed to him, do that. But I just want to show you real quick what I'm doing out here today. So you have to kind of get down here under here with me, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. These are the spindles. The spindles have a grease fitting on one side, and then this is going to be hard to see, especially with the lighting I got out here. But on the back side, they have a little fitting, and that when you get that spindle full of grease, that will pop out. So I'm just going to set you up there, and I'm going to start pumping on here. See, there it goes right there. Now again, I don't know how well you can see that in the video, but what I found is when I download these, a lot of times I go, oh, you can't see that. And then when I download the video and I watch it, it ends up being lighter. You see that grease going in here, coming out here. So I don't know what the schedule is on that. Basically, when I change my blades, I sharpen my blades about every 8 hours. I try to. Now these blades have been on here longer. These are a thicker blade. They do tend to high lift. They are rotary. And I said I was going to do a review on them. I haven't done a review on them, but I can tell you this. They're about a lot better than the low lift blades in terms of just thickness. They're much thicker. They hold up much better. So anyway, so you got a grease fitting here. On each spindle, you got one on the front of it. You got the grease fitting on the back of it. You got the little pop out that pops out when it gets full. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these up, finish changing out the blades, and then I'll show you a couple other places to grease on your Hustler XOne. We got the blades changed. we got all the fittings under there greased. Let me show you a couple of more here real quick. Your deck lift assembly. There's one here, and then there's one over on the other side. So you want to go ahead and do those. I'm going to do those real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and do these. Both of my front wheels have grease fittings as well, and I'll go ahead and grease in. And all you're doing on these, obviously in these you're going to pump it out, and right over here you're going to see a little bit of grease starting to come out on both sides. In here, inside this little cap here, you'll start to see a little grease come out. So that's all you're trying to do on those. Just in case I'm explaining this to somebody who doesn't understand, there's the fitting right here. You can see I started pumping. The grease come out here. You're also going to see a little bit of grease in there. And I do take and just kind of wipe that excess off because I don't want it slinging around all over the place. Same thing under here. You can start to see some come out right up top there. So that way we know we got plenty in it. And again, if you're doing this on a regular basis, it's not going to take, I can't tell you how many pumps on your grease gun because every gun's a little bit different, but it's not going to take a whole lot to get some grease to come out of there. I mean, if you're doing it on a regular basis. Now, if you haven't serviced it in a while, those spindles hold a lot of grease. They really do. And so, I mean, you can go through a tube of grease. I don't remember how many ounces it is, but whatever goes in a standard grease gun like this, you can go through a tube of that very quick on those spindles if you don't keep them up. What I was going to say earlier, I don't think I ever really got to. I started talking about my son-in-law being in the business with Hustler. The reason I think I get so many views on the Hustler videos is because when I started looking at Hustler, I got on Facebook and I started looking at the XOne, and there were very, very few videos out there of anybody actually, doing a review on a machine. There wasn't even a whole lot of them cutting. Now, I realize that a lot of the guys I follow are not Hustler folks. They're, Wright was a big thing and still is. Skag is very big. A lot of, even Taro now and some Ferris. But I just couldn't find a lot on Hustler. As a matter of fact, on Hustler, I could find more on the homeowner stuff. Like people were getting the Raptor or the Raptor SD, which I have, the Raptor SD. I could find more information and videos on that than I could on the XOne. And there was some stuff, and I guess the XOne's kind of in the middle there because it's not the Super Z or the Super Z Hyperdrive, and so it doesn't get the attention, but it's certainly a bona fide commercial machine. But anyway, so I figured I'd just do some of these simple videos. This is very simple. This is not to be an all-inclusive video or, a full maintenance video. We're not changing the oil today. I do have one where I changed the oil. Somewhere back there you can find it. But just to kind of show you some grease fittings and some things that you can do to keep your machine in good shape and operating and to take care of it. I'm going to tell you, grease and oil, and those things are the life of your machine. And if you don't keep those things, if you don't take care of those things, your machine's not going to take care of you down the road. Now, nothing's bulletproof, nothing's perfect, but grease and oil, two very important things, and also keeping things clean out. So let me finish up these fittings, and then we're going to get on to cleaning off the top of the deck. One other thing too, real quick, this is kind of grease 101, but that fitting, that grease zerk, I clean those off before I put my grease gun on it. And the reason is, I mean, in case you don't know, I assume everybody watching knows, but those things get dirt all around. You can see the grease coming out the top right here now. That's it, about 3 little pumps on my gun, and that's it. But you don't want to take and push all of that dirt inside of there. So like this grease gun has this little cap here that you can put on to keep that clean, and you clean those off. So now you'll see under here, you see all this grass? That's very dangerous. That's from cutting some tall stuff, grass coming over the deck and going up under there. Now what's happening, that's all up under my pulleys, all around my belt. It's wearing my belt, it's creating heat and friction between my pulleys. that stuff gets dry enough, I mean, it could catch on fire potentially. So I'll tell you one thing I did, I wish I hadn't have, but it's too late now. I should have put something in between this and the SD on the trailer. That's rubbing, and that's taking my paint off. And you know, it's one of them things you get in a hurry, and I just didn't do what I should have done, and because I like to keep my equipment looking good. But I mean, it's gonna get beat up. It's a mower. But anyway, check back with you in just a second. I'm sure if you bought one of these, you know this, but to access all this, all you do is loosen up these little knobs on both sides. What I do is drop the deck all the way down. Actually, I got it dropped down to about 2 inches, where it was 2 1/4 where I was cutting at last time. But these just come off, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at that mess, okay? And you can see, you know, these belts. I mean, that belt's going right through this mess. Okay, so you want to get in there and just clean that out. Now this is going to happen. I mean, if you cut tall grass, this is something you need to do pretty regular. Now I will confess, there's no need in lying to you. This is from a couple of days of cutting. This is something that you should keep clean. Okay, so I did not do that. Like I said, I got a couple of days of cutting on it. But normally what I'll take and do is clean all this big stuff out by hand. And see, there's sticks under here. And if you get a big stick under there and get it against your belt, that's trouble. You can eat up a new belt very quickly doing that. So I'm going to get over here and take off the other side, and I'm going to clean it out. All right, here's the other side. Now you can see that belt's running right through all of this mess here. So you understand, you know, look, I'm digging the belt out now. Now imagine, you know, that friction, that constant friction. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and well, I had wet grass get under here. Now I got dirt, like clumped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, get it cleaned out, and I'll show you the after. Now when I get the big stuff cleaned out, I put some air to it. When that compressor kicks on, you're not going to be able to hear anything. Hey, I actually already did the closing. I'm going to plug this in right before it, so if it seems a little out of place. One other little tip that I wanted to give you in terms of talking about maintenance on the mowers and changing the blades in particular is I want to show you something here. This is always in my trailer. Now, that's the set of blades that I just took off. Those are not in the best shape. I think I got another sharpened set in the shop that I'll probably actually get. But right down the bottom of this box here, amongst all this junk, one of the things I keep, this is a sharpened set. These aren't the high lift, but this is a sharpened set for the XOne, and up under that is a set for the SD. I always keep a socket, a block that I can put under there, you know, to keep the blades from turning, to loosen the blades and to tighten the blades. Now, that's not a very long handle ratchet, but when I also keep this pipe on the trailer, which is about probably 36 inches, and that'll get it off. Always keep a set of blades on there, because you never know, even if it's a dual set, even if it's the set that you just took off, because if you get out there on a job and you bend a blade on something, and you know you don't damage them more, but you bend the blade on something and you don't have a set of blades with you, then you got to go all the way back to town or to wherever, back to your house, whatever it might be, to get a blade. That will save you some time, and it'll work in a bind. I'm not saying use dull blades. I'm saying in a bind you can do that if you have to. So that's just another little helpful tip for you in case you don't do that. Okay, I am beginning to run out of daylight, but I think you can see under there that we have got this thing pretty clean. All that dirt's gone. Look at this grass pile. This is on this side, and then there's a pile of grass over there on that side. Part of that's pine straw way out there, but anyway, and we just put these covers back on. Now mine's a little bit more aggravating to get on. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand here if I can. No, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it with one hand. The reason why it's a little bit more aggravating is because I have the all right, let me just set this down here. I don't know if you'll be able to see what I'm doing or not, but anyway, I have the advanced chute system, and on this advanced chute system, the way it comes in, you definitely have to have the deck all the way down to get this piece off. So, because this advanced chute system sits over it. And so you have to have room between the frame. But anyway, we just put that bad boy back on. Belt, I kind of looked over the belt. Belt looks pretty good. Again, I have right now on this, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I don't think that's going to show up for you. But it's 105 hours on this piece of equipment. Now you can also take your air filter out and you can clean it. I would say refer to you. I'm just kind of showing you how to do what I'm doing on here. This is not a exhaustive list of maintenance items. This is just you know, maybe to help you out, give you some ideas. Because I believe like the spindles that you just saw me grease, that I've greased several times already. I believe in the service manual, those things are annually or 500 hours or something like that. Again, this is a commercial machine, so it's designed to put a lot of hours on it in a year. But for like the idler or the actual spindles, but you know, I'm one of those. I grew up in the country, and my granddaddy was a farmer. Now he passed away when I was a young fella, but one thing my granddaddy had was the old metal, maybe some of you seen these old metal oil cans that had the flexible spout on them and a little button on the top lever you push to pump it out. And he had an old grease gun, and he packed the grease out of a 5-gallon bucket in that grease gun. And he believed in oiling and greasing. And, you know, so that's kind of who I learned that from originally. But anyway, that's just a quick look at, you know, some simple things on the XOne. There's obviously, you know, you want to always check your oil. You want to check the oil in your hydro pumps, which is under the seat on the XOne. You know, each pump has its own reservoir, so you know you obviously want to check that. On the air filter, I said you could blow it out. Now of course your air filter does have this little thing right here in it, and when it gets down into the red area, you know that it needs to be cleaned out. So mine's getting close. Last time it was in and got serviced, they cleaned it out for me. Now I will tell you one thing about all that grass that I have up on here. Something that does not help that is this advanced chute system. When I have it down, I do have a gap right back in the back here. Most people that put these on have that problem. It's not an issue with me. I could seal it off if I wanted to, but it does blow back. When I run it a lot, it does blow back some of that on the deck, and it gets sucked under the deck. So anyway, I'm gonna cut the video off here. I got a couple more things that I need to do as far as getting my trailer ready for tomorrow, and fueling up all of my, you know, my backpack blower, and fueling up my edger and trimmer and all that kind of stuff I like to have ready. These cleanup jobs have had my tools all spread out, so I got some stuff that's not in its place where it needs to be, and I'm gonna go ahead and get that put back up real quick before it gets dark, and just have everything set up so I can pull out tomorrow. Got a tickle. It's not the Rona. I hope. But anyway, I'm going to get this done, get it knocked out, get ready. My prayer for you is always the same, that the Lord might richly bless you and that you might see all of your blessing as from Him. Hope that you have a great, great day.